children of the night. What music they make. They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Gentlemen, it took 338 episodes, but we are finally reviewing our first Christian film on Final, guys.
Praise the striper of horror movies.
They finally broke us down. We are talking about Nefarious, the actually really well-reviewed horror movie on Amazon Prime. That'll be our main feature tonight. But as usual, we're talking about all the bullshit we watch and experience through the week and make fun of each other. I am Jason Brett, joined as always by Dialogue Chad Lutsky.
Good evening.
Wayne Brady, Jack Campisi.
Does Wayne Brady got a Djokovic?
I thought
Also, I've got the penguin behind me in honor of our Christian movie.
that's perfect.
I don't like that you discovered this feature that gets rid of your background because I kind of missed the piss-colored room.
Yeah.
But I got the new light bulbs anyway, so.
Yeah, but the background still looked pissy, you know. So
Light bulbs.
Nicotine stained.
and Glennis Beckus Hunter Shea.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing today?
You need the scarf.
And those pensive close-ups.
Yeah.
Just kind of staring at you.
I am going as James because I have never heard a character use another character's name more than this movie. He said James more than the or.
I think James is the name that she's yelling in Infinity Pool. What's her name?
Mia
is
Goth?
it?
Yeah.
Mia Goth.
Yeah.
James!
What is it with the name James in these movies? That's interesting. I guess we should announce Chad has launched a new YouTube channel where he watches good horror movies. It's kind of entertaining. What do you want to tell us about it? Dialogue.
Yeah, been working on it for 2 months and with my wife, which makes it extra special, fun. And we launched last Thursday. We have 2 movies up right now and like a promo trailer. I'll put a link in here. I appreciate as many subs as I possibly can get, and hope you stick around to watch the stuff because a lot of time goes into it. And we're pretty proud of. Right now we got 2 movies up there, and we're doing 2 a week. So I will post. It's called Creepy Couch. Don't know if I mentioned that or not.
The big creepy couch.
You did not. And you're watching good horror movies. Now, these are mostly movies your wife hasn't watched, and you also have not watched, right?
We've done a couple that I had seen, and we found out that is not very much fun. So there's a lot of stuff like one of the movies I'm talking about tonight I had never seen. So I mean, there's so much horror out there that we're doing a little bit differently, though. We're not really necessarily going for the Hereditaries and the Exorcists and all that kind of stuff where people got to see your visceral reaction. There's a lot of comedy in this and some cutscene skits and stuff like that. We do it much different than your average horror reaction channel. Much like Jason does, way different than a lot of them. His format.
I could have warned you against doing that. Do the popular shit. Make way more money. If I just reviewed Steven Seagal all the time, I'd be driving a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And Glennis Beckus, you have a book.
Well, I have a book that came out last week, Combustible. All kind of like, post-apocalypse due to spontaneous human combustion. But more importantly, Jack's not the only one who gets stuff sent to him every now and then. Our buddy, who's an effing lunatic, Lucas Milliron.
Oh God!
He
wrote a sequel.
Cocksucker 2: The Hunt for Neutered Bob.
Wow!
This is his skunk ape opus, and I just got it today, and I'm gonna start reading it tomorrow. I'm dying.
I wonder if his opening sentence is as shocking as the first book. You have to.
Let's
here
see.
we go. Yeah.
Grandpa Balls cleaned cobwebs from Bertha's dusty snatch, his cock fat on 2 blue pills. Yep.
Yeah, okay. That's a Lucas Milliron book, that's for sure.
He's really losing his edge, isn't he?
He's selling out. He's writing for the kids now.
I were walking around scarce and care with a koozie like that set the cocksucker around it.
Which you'd never know. These are Skunk Ape books.
Yeah, insanely violent Skunk Ape books.
Yeah, great.
And Jack, I have to say, I was very shocked this week when I saw a notification that a new Monster Men video had come out. I was like, what year is this? What's happening?
It took Jack years to wrangle that guest.
We did one like a month or two ago. So the gap.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you
Oh, you did? Oh, I guess I missed that.
We're getting there.
I was liking the once a year model you guys were on there for a while. It really grows subscribers.
That's why we can always say, hey, we've been at this for 50 years. We put out 60 episodes.
All right. Anybody else have anything before we jump into the award-winning news segment?
Once Hunter had a chance to plug his book, suddenly he was all into doing an episode again.
It's weird how that works. Yeah.
First of all, I'm trapped in this damn house 24/7. If you ask me to do anything, I'm down right now.
Yes, I'll do it.
Yeah. Drinking words, Jason. Drinking words.
God
Hang on.
damn it.
Hang on.
Chad's
plugged
got
your, I got a book too, man. Friday, I just had a book come out.
Just plug your freaking stupid YouTube channel. But that's not
Yeah.
baby.
Well, it's been a good week. Thursday launched the channel. Friday launched a new book from Cemetery Dance called Bruises on a Butterfly. Right here, coming of age, very nice sad. Some crazy body horror in it. People I've gotten a great response so far, and I've read at least 4 or 5 who say this is my best book. I don't think it is, but at least they're enjoying it. So Bruises on a Butterfly, go get it, and go get Combustible.
I'll be buying it.
And drool over both covers and all of their words.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have anything else you need to pitch to us? Okay. All right. Who wants to do?
I got it, man. So I'm drinking this crazy beer called Miller Lite tonight because I just like to make urine. Jason's drinking some kind of girly fruit cider.
It's a strawberry lemonade cider from Quinn Kelly. Thank you, Quinn. Shut the hell up, Hunter.
If I ever told my dad I was drinking something with strawberry to get drunk, he'd punch me.
You're drinking water to get drunk. What's the difference?
I'm not getting drunk tonight. There's just nothing else to drink. Chad is vaping, and Jack, are we going to get a whiskey, Jack, tonight?
I'm
Poland
drinking this.
Springs.
Nice.
Green screen effect. Poland Springs.
What's this?
That's the most important coin you can ever have.
This is my 10-year chip.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I saw the triangle. I thought it was like an Illuminati.
This is a Hershey Kiss that I'm going to eat later.
Is that your reward for getting through the show without falling asleep? All right, here we go. Here are the words. They're brought to us every week by Sheridan Bradford. We're not really sure who he is or where he is, but he makes words for us, and we're happy about it. So when we say these words, you drink or not. Doesn't matter. Jack, your words are sane, Brady. No, I'm sorry. Is it Brady? Yeah, it's Brady. Or planet. I thought maybe Brody. My words are demon, skunk, and chair. How the hell did he come up with skunk? That scares the crap out of me because I did not mention that I got this Skunk Ape book at all until just now.
Yeah, but he knows you always talk about skunk apes. So.
He's got a listening device.
He threw the dice.
Clock is new. He might be in it. Jason, your words are Dr. Prime and Exorcist. Chad, your words are homeless, personality, and book. You look like someone with a homeless personality who writes books. And the bonus words, if any of us say possessed, electric, and abortion.
We're definitely saying that, so buck up, people.
Yeah.
Belly up to the bar right now.
I've always waited for this abortion discussion the 4 of us can have on here.
This is, we've been gearing up for 7 years to have this discussion now.
Okay. With that, let's finally jump into the award-winning news. It's the news. Yay.
I was going to lead off the news with something about Jurassic Park, but then something actually that we care about popped up on the old feed.
Thank God.
Goodbye. Ethan Cohen was on a master class with somebody, Trisha Cook. And in conversation, he brought up that he and his brother have already written a new script for a horror movie.
The Coen brothers in a horror movie?
Brothers, it's a pure horror film, and it gets very bloody. If you like Blood Simple, I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, I'm in.
Interesting.
If they made a Christian movie about becoming a Protestant, I'd watch that.
Uh-oh.
All right.
What happened?
Jason hates the Coen brothers.
I think he just crapped himself.
Ever since the Ballad of Buster Scruggs or whatever that movie's called, he was like, I'm out.
He got so excited right there. He had to bail.
Now, if I had a Hunter, like your favorite movie is like The Big Lebowski.
Favorite movie of all time, hands down.
My favorite Coen brothers is No Country for Old Men.
My second favorite might be Raising Arizona.
That
I like the absurdity that they do.
Chad, you a Coen brothers guy?
Yeah, of course. If you like
I never
movies,
know
you
with
like, right? You know,
I
Yeah.
love Oh Brother Where Art Thou because just every now and then,
That I
every
haven't
20
seen.
minutes, you just hear George Clooney go, "Man, we're in a tight spot."
George Clooney's facial expressions in that movie are worth the price of admission.
Hit me, Dapper Dan.
And the
Did
version of Man of Constant Sorrow is the best.
Yes.
Did they also,
Soggy
did they also
Bombers.
do There's Something About Mary, or is it somebody else?
No,
No,
that's
that's
the
the Farrelly brothers.
Farrelly brothers.
Okay. I like it when brothers make movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ted and Sam Raimi, Farrelly brothers, Coen brothers.
The brothers Karamazov.
How about you, Jason? Any Coen brothers love?
Big Lebowski's
Yeah,
one
for
of
sure.
the funniest movies ever made. I can quote that thing start to end.
Hey man, there's a beverage here. It's
Like,
like,
I love that movie.
yeah, I want to go. There's a Lebowski con every year. Like I want to
Really?
go. Yes.
I love No Country for Old Men so much. And I read the book, and 9 times out of 10, I think the book is better than the movie when I read something.
Mhm.
I actually think that movie's better than the book.
Nice.
I agree. I read the book. It's like The
No.
Shining.
I can't wait. I mean, nothing's going to top the Mick Garris miniseries, but
No. But yeah, I'm dying for this movie now. Barton Fink, that's a good one. Barton Fink's really good.
so look, I don't know when this is coming out, but that's great news. And actually, I only saw Blood Simple once, so I checked. It's on HBO. I'm going to watch that sometime soon because it's been a long time.
I wonder who in their stable will
Yeah.
be in it. Like, is John Goodman going to be in it? Because he's done a lot of stuff for them. Be
Who
interesting.
knows?
I don't know that I've seen Blood Simple, to be honest.
It's an early one. It's excellent.
It's got what's
That's
his name? Emmett. Who's that? Emmett, the old guy with the cowboy hat.
Emmett Walsh.
Yeah, he's in it.
It's good, man. It's real good.
The
And the guy
incredibly
who's the
talented
dictator from Commando.
Big time.
Dan Hedaya.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't know his name.
Carla Tortelli's husband. Wasn't he from Cheers?
yes.
Yeah. Nick Tortelli.
Frances McDormand. She's
Young.
always stable.
Yep.
Doesn't seem crazy at all.
She's probably so boring in real life.
Were any of you guys fans of the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes.
Nope.
I enjoyed that show. I kind of lost track of it in like the last season or so.
Mm.
That was before DVR. You had to like set your VCR and
I haven't watched a single episode.
It's good
Wow.
because they balanced the horror and drama with humor, so it was very good. And man, that guy could cast. Like the cast was stellar.
Yeah.
Anyway, legendary show based on a movie with Christy Swanson and Luke Perry and Pee Wee Herman. What I did not know, I think it's called Sand Dollar. I don't have it here. The production company, Sand Dollar Productions, owned by Dolly Parton.
What?
Dolly is the reason the movie got made and the TV show happened. Sand
I
Dollar
love her even more
Productions.
now. Oh my
And
God, she's
recently
incredible.
was talking to somebody on something and said that there is actually a revival, kind of like in the behind the scenes, like they're talking about it. Not sure what it's going to look like yet. Somebody asked Sarah Michelle Gellar about it a while back, and she said, "I'm kind of done. I'm too old." And the way that they left the show was what Star Wars kind of tried to do with the Force, where in one of the movies they kind of insinuated that anybody could have the Force towards the end, so they wouldn't have just have the one. They kind of did that with the Slayer thing. I didn't see it, but anyway, so they're not sure if they're going to reboot it or continue or whatever. But for who knows what that's going to look like. I just thought it was really interesting. I never knew that Dolly Parton owned a production company that brought us.
No.
Man, she freaking prints money. That woman. I mean, God, I wonder what her net worth is, actually. It's got to be astronomical.
She has an amusement park after herself. I mean, come on.
She's like up there. She's one of those people when you think of like the biggest celebrities, she doesn't just pop to mind, but I mean, she's got to be worth just hundreds of millions of dollars.
Dude, and I loved her in that Dallas Cowgirl cheerleader outfit at 76 or whatever, and halftime and Thanksgiving. Damn.
Miley Cyrus's godmother.
Yeah. Miley Cyrus. Hi, I'm Miley Cyrus.
Oh, that was beautiful.
She needs to cut down on whatever she's doing to her throat.
The last piece of news is this, and I'm curious to see your reactions because I think you're all going to roll your eyes.
I'll hide my eyes.
They're creating a horror museum at the Stanley Hotel. Sounds pretty cool, right?
Well, of course, you're going to cash in with everybody flowing the doors.
But wait.
There's more.
Jason Blum is the person making the horror museum.
Why
and
him?
We're not sure if it's just going to be from Blumhouse properties or if they're going to go find other stuff. So stay tuned for that. So that goes from, I was like, ooh, that could be cool. Stanley Hotel would be a cool place to go visit. Horror hotel? Now we're talking destination.
Yeah.
Wait, Blumhouse?
Like, I'd rather Jason and Grant from Ghost Hunters create the thing.
I could see have a night swim pool.
I can see the board of directors now. It's got the Blumhouse guy, Eli Roth, Mick Garris, and Rob Zombie. Well, these horror lover guys who can't seem to really make a super solid movie.
I beg to disagree. You've got Eli Roth, at least you have somebody with some ability.
Actually, I think if you had Eli Roth and Rob Zombie, they would not just let Blumhouse stuff in there.
No.
Yeah, it's just pretty hardcore.
All of a sudden,
but
it's all Blumhouse and Hostel.
But to be fair, those guys are also either doing remakes or they're paying such strong homage to something they wrote themselves that it's like almost a sister movie. Like Rob Zombie with his whole fetish with Texas Chainsaw and Eli Roth. I mean, I guess Green Inferno was probably my only movie by him that I really thought was good, and that's just a homage to cannibal.
You didn't like Cabin Fever?
Not really, no.
Hostel's a good movie.
What about Knock Knock?
Parts of Knock Knock I liked, obviously, but
yeah, I wonder which part.
But the
well, hold on, I got it on
feels
pause
dirty?
over here.
But the end was rather embarrassing, I thought. With
there was some acting issues.
Bad. It was bad.
The end.
The original was based on is really good.
What are we talking about?
Knock Knock.
Knock Knock.
Oh,
Sandra Locke is one of the crazy girls in the original.
Chad, he plays Detroit Rock City in that movie. You gotta love it.
Should have dug deeper. Play some Christine 16.
That movie brought us Anna de Armas, so that movie's in the Hall of Fame as far as I'm
got no
concerned.
complaints.
That is all the news that fit the print.
All right, I'm very curious to hear what garbage we swung through this week. Let's get into it.
We have such sights to show you.
You know what? Let's just go around here. What did we have in Tubiland this week, Chad?
From 1987, there is a movie called Video Violence.
I have this.
Okay, I figured you probably did. As Jason, as you would say, this movie is shot on Shitio.
Okay, excellent.
And it's definitely so bad it's good. So if somebody sent this to you, then good for them.
I might have it right beside it, actually.
Oh,
No
Jesus,
budget,
dead hands.
no budget schlock fest. A couple is new in a small town where they open a video store, and one day a video is returned to them that isn't theirs, so they decide to watch it, and it's a snuff film. Then he tries
Cool
to get
idea.
the sheriff. He tries to get the sheriff involved. The sheriff is very inadequate with his job. Things get hilarious with this guy's investigation, the video store owner's investigation with his wife, and find out who's responsible for this film. And then it's slowly revealed that this town is not what it seems. This movie is a page ripped right out of what's his name, Herschel Gordon Lewis's 2000 Maniacs.
Okay.
Our favorite movie.
But with a town crazy for snuff films. Twice in this movie, we're reminded of the red flag that every local living there owns a VCR. This video store owner just can't get. He thinks that he just doesn't understand that. Why would everybody in the town own a VCR? It's so strange. Something's going on.
What?
So, there are parts of this that are slow. When I start to watch a movie like this, Jason, I instantly think of you and your guys and your wife watching this, and I definitely know like what you're looking for, what you enjoy, and I can see some areas in here where you're kind of might roll your eyes and be like, how is this scene going to end? They're just talking, but it's still entertaining because how incompetent it is and how bad the dialogue is and the acting is just so poor. And somehow they convinced a few women to take their tops off for some pretty extended scenes. Shocking for such a low budget.
In the 80s, it was kind of easy.
But
We'll give you a T-shirt.
This, because of the quality and everything and the acting and stuff, this belongs on the shelf next to L.A. AIDS Jabber, I think.
Whoa.
I dared to watch it alone, but I definitely recommend watching it with someone who appreciates bad movies. And I see that there's a sequel on Tubi, so I'll probably be checking that out.
I have that as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
I'm actually going through my collection, creating a new database with everything, and I just saw those the other day. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those.
Can't get enough of that snuff.
I like how you have all these movies, but like you haven't watched them.
Dude, I have like 2,500 of these.
You'd have to live to be as old as Methuselah to get through those movies.
I think after that review, that's going right to the top of the list, though.
It's up there. What was the other one, Chad? I pulled it aside that you told me to watch a couple months ago.
There was one that Night Feeders.
Yeah, that one. I have that one pulled to the side too.
And then there was a recent one too that I told you, and that I talked about recently, and I can't remember which one it is. But I can't wait for you to get to the Night Feeders one.
All right, looking forward to it. Jack,
Sitco sign.
So I have the Nicole Kidman AMC premiere or whatever the heck it is. So this year, I'm going to be seeing a lot more movies in the theater. And apparently, I don't know if it's every Tuesday or several times a month, they do this sneak preview thing where they don't tell you what movie they're going to see, but you go and you see whatever they show. And it's like $5 or something like that. But when you have to pass, but when they call it something Screen, but if they call it Scream, then you know it's going to be a horror movie.
Right.
My buddy, who also has the pass, texted me the other day. And he's like, hey, Monday they're doing, I guess it's Mondays. They're doing a horror movie. Want to go? It's like, sure. So I went, and it turns out the movie was called Out of Darkness. Brand new movie. And it's about, first of all, it takes place 45,000 years ago.
Period piece.
So it's like, I don't know the proper thing, but kind of
Quest for Fire.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
It is. It's like Stone Age, and basically, it's a group of 6 who have just crossed like a part of the ocean to get from one landmass to another. You know how difficult that must have been.
Impossible.
And then they're trying to travel to find shelter. But then something starts stalking them, something scary. And when nightfall comes, it is pitch black, and all they've got is their fire, and you can't see, 6 feet out after the firelight. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, they get drawn into the woods, and they are just sitting ducks for this thing. So I sat back and watched, and I'm happy to say I enjoyed this movie. They do some really awesome visual stuff, and whether they're going through darkness or through fog and things like that, and the for the amount of the movie where you don't know what is hunting them, you don't know if it's supernatural or what it is, you're kind of on the edge of your seat. When they finally get to kind of what's going on, it's still good, but it's the kind of thing that we walked out and felt like we needed to digest it. We're like, "Wow, I don't know how I feel about this." And we were talking about it. I said, "Well, this is kind of good because it didn't just sort of have a predictable ending or something. We're talking about it. We're still trying to figure out exactly. So it may not sit well with everybody, and other people I think are going to love it. But this is such a different kind of movie than
Yeah, I like the concept.
yeah. So I think it's definitely worth a watch. I enjoyed it, and I mean right now it's number one on my.
From the images, it's good to know that 45,000 years ago we had scissors, razors, and cutting shears.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
That was my next point. That was the only one I'm watching it going, wow, like their necks are less hairy than mine. The guy's got a fade and
they had really white teeth.
It's like how they have clippers because this guy's hair is short.
Yeah.
How's this work?
Well, the first thing they find when they get there is they find water and a salon.
Oh.
Hello, welcome to Luigi.
And everybody, all the barbers are played by Eddie Murphy. It's very funny.
Oh.
So, Out of Darkness, it's coming out, I think, next week or something like that. So I like I said, it's different, and thought it was a good watch.
Right. For concept, I'll see it. It's funny because when I was growing up, my birthday is May 7th, if anyone wants to send me anything. And it was always, what do you want to watch? Well, it's Families Goes to any movie you choose. And one year was Quest for Fire. So this will be the second movie I've seen in that vein in all that time.
All right.
There's some good gore in this movie.
I'm in. All right. So I was busy this last week with the release of a new book and trying to finish a novel's last round of edits and get them in on time when I thought I would need to ask for a 2-month extension. It's kind of nuts. So at one point I was like, I'm half asleep, but I'm going to just throw something on. It was 40 minutes long on Tubi. It is called, hold on, I got to find it. It's called Searching for Skunk Ape, Florida's Bigfoot.
Jesus Christ.
In line with Cocksucker 2 that just came in the mail today. This is a low. If you can't find an image, Jason, I'm not surprised.
I can't find it on IMDb.
Yeah. I mean, you can watch it on YouTube. I saw it on Tubi. It's 40 minutes. I think it's part of a series. But this particular one, it's just some middle-aged dudes searching for skunk ape. I will give them credit for this. They make no incredible claims, and anything story they hear, they go, probably not. So they actually were rational human beings, but one guy had a bike helmet with like a fuzzy microphone and a GoPro. Him walking around with that helmet. I would have smacked that helmet off his head if I was with him. So no, this isn't happening. But if you like Bigfoot documentaries,
And who doesn't?
who doesn't? I love Bigfoot documentaries, but some of them are terrible. This one wasn't terrible. Maybe it was the 40-minute runtime, but I think it really went with the these guys had their feet on the ground. They didn't have their heads up a skunk ape's butt. So if you got 40 minutes to kill, there you go. There's your skunk ape fix. There's not many good skunk ape docs out there.
Okay.
I was desperate.
Thank you for contributing.
Thanks for the effort, though. You watched something.
I mean, it's more than I did. I didn't watch anything, but I've been very, very slowly playing a game for like 4 months. I've been playing Alan Wake 2 when I get a chance. This is a sequel to one of my favorite games ever, Alan Wake, which just the storytelling in it is it's almost as good as a novel, the way they do the horror stuff. And it's just the storytelling that this game studio does is always great. And this is no different. But this is not just a sequel to Alan Wake, which is about like a living darkness that is kind of manipulated by a writer. Like what he writes kind of comes true, but he gets sucked into this darkness and it uses his mind to kind of change reality and things like that. It's a sequel to that, but it's also a sequel to their other games that they've released recently. So the story is dense. It's my least favorite thing about it so far is the story is very dense. But as far as the production values go, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars they spent on this game, but it's wild the things that they do. And the way you find like pages of a book, and when you read them, like the game changes around you. So it's pretty cool. If you are a writer or you like reading, the Alan Wake series is amazing to play because the main guy is a writer, and you run around fighting stuff that he's creating. It's just really cool storytelling. So
Such a
if you haven't-
strange,
the
strange
first
title
Alan Wake
for
is super cheap. What's that?
strange title. I've seen people really anticipate this. I knew nothing about it. It sounds cool, but I just thought, what a bizarre name for a movie. Just a man's name. Is that right? Like John Wick?
Yeah, he's the
Alan
author,
Wake?
Alan Wake. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's good stuff. I've waited like 10 plus years for the sequel to come out. So I bought it as soon as it released and I've barely played it. So I'm not even done yet. I'm like halfway through over months, but freaking cool game, man. I really am digging it. So
Sweet.
all right, Chad.
Okay. You guys might be surprised that I have not seen until recently Planet Terror. I'm sure that you've probably also.
I watched Creepy Couch and I was like, this isn't possible. I think Chad's lying to us.
No, it's true, and I'll tell you why. My biological father, who he was a huge horror fan, and we were always looking for good horror movies. The gorier, the better. And when this came out, he saw it first, and then asked that I not watch it until we could watch it together. So I just didn't. Then he passed away, and I never got the chance. So I put it off for a long time, and decided it would be maybe a good one to do for the very first episode of Creepy Couch. So, wow. Some toxic gas has leaked. People are infected. And to stave this oncoming infection, they have to regularly breathe the remedy. But one night, the infection spreads and all hell breaks loose. This movie is awesome. I thought it would be good because I saw the trailer when I saw Death Proof, I think it was, years ago. And I knew it would probably be good, too, because Tarantino was involved in Rodriguez, and I liked From Dusk Till Dawn and all that. But I didn't know it was going to be this good. I love these characters with their strange quirks, like the one guy with his collection of testicles and another guy obsessed with the perfect barbecue sauce.
Did you like the Psycho Babysitter Twins?
Yes, all that stuff. It's a straight up Joe Lansdale book.
I have their autographs from.
I
Sure.
met them at a show in Minneapolis where there were only 100 attendees. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Is Joe Landis? What'd you say his name was? Lansdale? Is that
Lansdale,
hack writer you
the
shit
guy
on?
that Chad doesn't like? He shits on you.
Do not do that. Joe's one of my favorite authors, but this feels like if you've ever read his story, The Night They Missed the Horror Show meets like The Drive-In, his novel The Drive-In. That's what it felt like to me. It's so crazy. I don't know why this doesn't get lumped in with other zombie classics, like Return of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Nobody talks about it very much. I'm not sure why, because I think it's
The zombies are like the least of that movie, though. I mean,
yeah, it's outrageous, super gory, it just zany, over the top gore, over the top action, with this chick who has a gun for a
Rose
leg.
McGowan.
A leg that was only amputated hours before she gets this gun shoved into it, and apparently none of this hurts her going around. But that's part of the charm of the movie. Is it's they know that all of this stuff is just ridiculous. There's kung fu, explosions, even a dog gets brutally killed, a little boy gets brutally killed. There's no like, no holds barred for this. Thank you, Hunter.
You're welcome. There's no quiet way to do that. By
Hunter,
the way.
remember the opening of this movie?
No.
It's Rose McGowan's dance.
Oh, yeah. How can I not remember that, Rose McGowan? That was height of her power right there.
But I loved it. Again, don't know why people aren't talking about it more. If you want to see mine and my wife's hilarious reaction, you could see it on the Creepy Couch.
I have the soundtrack to that album. It's got great music.
And if you want, you could sit next to Jack on his creepy couch and watch it together.
I haven't watched that since the theater, I don't think. I need to go back to
I
it.
saw Grindhouse when that came out, but
Yeah,
I
me
watched
too.
Planet Terror after that too. And Death Proof separately.
Yeah, I've seen Death Proof a couple times, but I've only seen Planet Terror once.
Great movie.
All right, Jack.
Jason, how did you describe what we were going to watch? What we were going to do next? We were going to talk about what?
James.
No. When we got to this segment, you said, now we're going to talk about...
Oh, crap. Yeah, crap we
Yeah,
watch
Super
or
Rocks,
whatever.
yeah.
So I got to live up to that.
I brought the crap, I think. So it's your
I
turn.
have gotten access to Paramount Plus. So I went right to the horror section
Mhm.
and I looked, and there's not an abundance of horror movies that jumped out at me like, oh, wow. But there was one that I hadn't seen. And I said, well, I do a horror podcast. I'm going to take the plunge. And I watched Pet Sematary Bloodlines.
Ooh.
Oh, why?
I've been wanting to see it.
This movie is exactly how you guys reacted.
I mean, we're too old to waste an hour and a half. Come on.
Well, did you ever watch the Goldbergs? Because Natalie Lind is the lead. It's Judd from Pet Sematary when he's younger.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Yeah.
Basically, you know how the Demeter movie was one chapter of Dracula? This is like half a chapter of Pet Sematary when he basically talks about the first time they used the Pet Sematary
Bury his dog.
with the kid in town, Timmy Baterman.
The story that we already heard the end of during
Yes.
the book and in the movie.
They
Jesus
stretch it out.
Christ.
And this is in the Pet Sematary remake universe, not the original Pet Sematary universe. So you got the mask, and y'all know I hated that remake.
The Cemetery Universe.
And they have David Duchovny in this. They've got
What?
Henry Thomas in this.
Wow.
They've got Samantha Mathis and Pam Grier is in this movie, and they're all wasted.
Oh my God, Pam Grier.
All wasted. A lot of off-screen kills, like you see somebody come in, and then
I see how you picked this.
that's Natalie
Oh,
Lind. She was one of the girlfriends on the Goldbergs.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was.
Yes, Jason, you got me.
Don't sit on Jack's couch.
It's like, should I watch this or not?
Fumigated.
For me, dog, this was a no. So basically, this is that story. Some kid comes back from the war. His dad buries him dead. Dad buries him in the Pet Sematary. Bad things happen. And they stretch out what is an interesting thing in the book to a whole feature movie, which also, after watching this movie, if Judd, it's already questionable enough when you read Pet Sematary or see the movie that Judd is like, don't ever use the Pet Cemetery, but your kid's cat's died, maybe you should use the Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, let's use that. Yeah.
You know, if this was what happened to him and he still recommended even going near that place, he's like the worst human in the history. He's bad enough as it is, but like you just save your time unless you just are looking for something silly to watch.
How hard is it to do a sequel to Pet Sematary? I mean, seriously. Just have a new family move into the goddamn house.
You watch though, you're probably going to get a whole bunch of this because it's a recognized. I think of Children of the Corn this, and we're going to have, 10. Your shelf is going to slowly fill
Well,
up.
we have 5 now, right? There's 5 Pet Cemetery movies. The
original
2,
and
the remake. The original 2.
Yeah.
And then these
And then
2.
did they remake? Didn't they do a Pet Cemetery 2 remake or no?
I
No.
don't think so.
Oh, they didn't. All right, so you got 4.
Mm-hmm.
You should only have 1.
But they could. I mean, like Paramount Plus, they can drop a couple of bucks next Halloween.
Oh, my kids when this first came out on Paramount Plus, we saw the coming attractions, and they laughed their heads off. They're like, "Why would anyone watch that?" I'm like, "All right, I raised you right. Thank you."
I actually like the remake.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it's a wet.
My biggest problem was that there's a huge bait switch in the movie that they show in the trailer, and so there's absolutely no effect in the movie for it at all.
Yeah.
Had I not known that, that'd have been pretty cool.
Oh, Jack, you okay?
All right. That's
I'm fine. I can handle. Look, I do this for a living.
For a living, yeah, we're making a great.
I'm surprised of all of us.
Good.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised of all of us that you would watch that because you really like Pet Sematary, and you hated everything else around it. So I'm surprised you were like, yeah.
If I didn't do a horror podcast, it was just desperate for something to watch. I was just like, hour and a half.
Yeah.
Let's just see. We can get a laugh out of it.
All right. I had time
February.
last night because I handed in my book early in the day, and I was like, "Oh, I can watch something tonight." So, Chad, you're going to like this more than anyone. I watched a movie called Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll.
That's an awesome name.
Sounds like an Italian name.
It's a Spanish giallo movie
Fragile.
Yeah.
from the 70s on Shudder.
Nice.
Now, I remember it growing up as a movie called The House of Psychotic Women.
Okay,
which
that sounds familiar.
I believe I might have seen this in the 80s, but it's lost to time. This movie is about a drifter, some dude. He kind of looks like John Belushi. He kind of has that vibe going for him. And he gets picked up. He's looking for work in this little town. And
John Belushi, right there.
yeah, exactly. So he gets picked up by this gorgeous woman who says, "Oh, me and my 2 sisters live in this place and we need a caretaker. You can be the caretaker." I don't need to see your resume. The woman who picks him up has this weird glove on her hand because she has this deformed, burned up arm, chewed up hand with only like 2 fingers on it. In her house is another sister who is confined to a wheelchair because she has psychosomatic thing where she thinks she can't walk. And then there is the other sister who was just the horniest slut you've ever seen in your life. Like the minute they show her, chest heaving, wild red hair, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, she's gorgeous. So
I feel like this is my face as you're describing these characters.
that's the nurse. So that's like the homely girl that they bring in to be the nurse of the girl in the wheelchair. This girl is just this blonde girl who's also gorgeous. Is just fodder for a killer. So it turns out this guy they pick up, he went to jail for, yep, it's a lot in that movie.
Wow.
For strangling a woman to death. So he's an ex-con, he's a killer. But maybe he's not as bad as we think he is. All the sisters in this movie are friggin' crazy, but not like Texas Chainsaw crazy, just a little off. And this guy is just laying pipe everywhere he can. He's dicking down as many of them as he can with the most aggressive, like his shit doesn't fly nowadays. But right there, back then, it's kind of like you grab them by the upper arm a little hard, maybe a little smack in the face, and then take their off their top. And then-
Jesus.
and then they're like in love with you.
Smack him around. Wow.
It's like that. It's got that like aggressive, toxic masculinity vibe, but the chicks dig it. This movie's so good, man. I love giallo movies. If anyone out there, we have very smart listeners. What's the definitive book on giallo movies that I can find and read, and then just immerse myself in giallo? Not just Italian, but every country that made these movies, because I love every one of these. There's always a twist. They're always fun, and this one is no exception.
I love them too, and I love that Shudder has so many of them.
So I was just gonna say, Shudder has like 1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't have
I
enough.
love that.
And then the best part is like, you only get the first 15 minutes, like, oh, okay, there's all these gorgeous women. They all have beautiful eyes. And then you figure out who's going to show her boobies first. And you can make it a drinking game. You could wager on it. Everybody wins, because eventually you're going to see something. But yeah, this is such a fun movie. If you have Shudder, check it out. Again, it's called on Shudder Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll.
Gonna watch it.
They always have cool names.
Yeah. Or House of
All
Successful Women.
Everybody tapped out?
Yes.
All right. Finally, it is time for our religious discussion as we get into Nefarious.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
All right. This
You're okay.
is a movie that when it finished, I was like, I really don't know what everyone is going to say about this one. Normally, I have a pretty good feeling. And this one, I was like, all right, let's see
This is
what
a
happens
Jason
here.
Brandt joint, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So this is...
Yeah,
Someone recommended
It's his
this to me. I went on IMDb. I saw it was like a 6.4 or something. And I was just like, hey, what do you guys think of this? And when you said Christian movie, I was like, oh, shit. I did not know that because I didn't even read the description. So, do you want me to describe this, Jack, since it was my pick? Or
Yeah,
do you
that
want-
sounds good.
Yeah, that's
All right.
proper.
Is it a psychologist or psychiatrist? I can never get them straight.
A doctor.
psychologist,
There we go.
psychiatrist, prescribed
Brain
med.
doctor.
Brain doctor has to go in and meet with a prisoner on death row to discern if he is insane or not, because if he is insane, they won't execute him the next day. And if he determines that he is of sound mind, then they will give him the electric chair. And 95% of the movie takes place in that room with the brain doctor talking to a man who believes himself to be possessed. And the doctor, his name is James. You will learn that very quickly, and you will hear that often.
Oh, James. Oh, James.
The demon's name is Nefarious. And they talk a lot.
Oh yeah.
And that's the movie. So I will go last. Since I never recommend movies, and I was like, oh, I heard this is good. So I'll go last. Chad, what did you think of Nefarious?
Okay.
Also, whoever the hell is talking in the background, punch him in the face.
I think it's
Continue.
Jack's got one of those guys in the basement.
Mm.
So, okay. When I watched this, I thought, I placed my bets that everybody would hate the movie. That's still what I think. I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't find the movie very entertaining. I thought that the one guy, wasn't he from Boondock Saints?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Patrick Flannery.
Okay. So now he's a Boondock Sinner, right?
Oh, ho, ho.
Eh.
Thank you.
You've been sitting on that one all week, haven't you?
He was excellent, I thought. I can see why someone might think it was a little over the top, but I think for what they had him do and what they wanted him to do, I thought he nailed it. And the way he would go in and out of every time he would become himself. Wayne Brady or Edward Wayne Brady or Wayne Edward Brady or whatever his name was.
Don't have to Wayne Brady.
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, I felt for the guy. I don't know why, man. It's just every time he like. Anyway, wow, lots of dialogue. I'm usually a fan of dialogue-driven films. I don't know that I was as much a fan for this, but I did appreciate the dialogue, and I did appreciate the as far as the writing, and I did appreciate the guy's acting. I wished I wouldn't have seen the trailer because I didn't like the trailer. The trailer, excuse me, the trailer ripped out a lot of those like clicks, like little. I think Hereditary did it first, like it sounds like a clock ticking or a hand clapping, and
Right.
it's supposed to be, and it's got this like droning thing and like these little switchy sound effects and stuff like that. This used it a lot. I've seen a lot of movies do that since Hereditary came out. And I just didn't, I don't know. There was some, I don't know if I'd call them spoilers, but I wish I wouldn't have seen the trailer so I could just go in and go, okay. And I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But yeah, didn't hate it. Didn't love it. I thought there was some good merit to some of it.
All right, Wayne Brady.
I love this movie because I love getting bait and switched, where you think you're going to see a horror movie, and then suddenly you go, "Oh, ooh, it's a sermon! Awesome! Yay!"
Father McGillicuddy, you did it to me again.
Wait, is there a subtle agenda being pushed at me? I hardly even noticed it. It wasn't heavy-handed at all. I really learned something. I think I'm going to change my ways now. Thank you, Glenn Beck.
Yeah, that was a decision.
I thought he was a producer. I kept waiting. I'm like, oh, he wasn't. Or maybe he was in the background.
Jason, you said this movie got good reviews. I spent like a day at work just listening to reviews of this movie after. All the good reviews in this movie are from Christian people.
Yeah, I didn't read the reviews.
You didn't vet the reviewers?
No, dude, I don't trust reviewers at all. Everybody rates a movie based on their stance on whatever the movie's talking about. So I never, ever listen to movie reviewers.
Only one of like the usual review people that I see pop up for the stuff even talked about this movie. But there's all kinds of like, the pastor watches a movie. This week we're talking about, and how so I did not like this movie. And
shocking.
It starts off and it's rolling, and Flannery's fine. Jordan Belfry plays the doctor. He was actually in the VHS movie. He was that latest one, the thing that replicates or whatever. I looked that up. I didn't know that off the top of my head. I
was like, damn, I didn't remember that.
You're rolling along and watching this. And then they get to this part, and we'll get into it more, but you saw a drinking word. They get to something about abortion. You ever see Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
And there's a scene where Gamora is floating in space, and Peter Quill sees her, puts on his mask, flies out there. Rocket's like, "Get back in the ship! What are you doing?" And then Yondu pulls him back in, and she comes to. She's like, "You saved me." He's like, "Yeah, I saw you out there, and I couldn't help myself." But then he starts to go, I'm just so brave and whatever. And he starts bragging about himself. And she goes from like looking like sincere and love, and she rolls her eyes. Mm-hmm. It's a funny moment. Yes. That was me. As soon as they started talking about abortion, I was like, okay, here we go.
I didn't think they pushed it far enough. I think they should have done another half hour on it.
Yeah. You familiar with the book, The Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis?
C.S. Lewis, yeah.
I said to my wife, I said, this is a modern horror Screw Tape Letters.
This felt like a youth pastor sat down and said, I'm going to write a horror movie based on the Screw Tape Letters.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Two demons corresponding, talking about their strategies towards tempting somebody. And what I feel like is the Christian echo chamber looks at this movie and goes, oh, this is such a great, powerful message. It's going to get out there. and people who aren't into this kind of thing are going to get turned off by it. Like it's not going to reach them. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have anything against people who believe or have faith or things like that. I just think as a piece of entertainment, this just got clunky, and everything was fine for me. I wouldn't have rated this movie very, very highly or whatever, but I could have dealt with it. The last like 10 minutes of this movie just tanked it. I was like, this is
where it really, that's where I felt like it really turned into a message.
You didn't like
garbage.
the CGI rain and
So
storms
the
coming?
heavy-handed, I thought the writing stuff was bad. I'll get into it more. I'll let somebody else talk.
All right. Well, I turned this on, laid on my couch, got comfortable. I mentioned we have no heat, so I lit a fire, got under the covers, and I did not expect a movie of 87% of just two guys talking across the table to one another. So for maybe 25 minutes, I said, I hope Jason gets an itch that he cannot scratch in a place that even his long ass orangutan arms can't reach. So, and I was ready to just call it. I was going to DNF the movie. I was going to go to sleep. And then I don't know, for some reason, I got sucked into the conversation because despite my loving nonsense like skunk apes and UFOs, I love theology. So I said, oh, all right, I'm sucked in. Let me listen to this message. There are no subtleties in this. This is literally something we would have watched in like high school. They would have rolled the TV in on the cart and put that in. Father Biglin would have shown you everything. But I did appreciate the performance of Sean Patrick Flannery. That his name.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I thought him as the crazy guy was actually really, really good.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's a very good actor. The guy who played the shrink, he looked like he belonged in a Lifetime movie.
He was a victim of poor writing too.
There's just something about him. I don't know. I wanted to punch his face. I hope he's listening. So yeah, I did not hate this movie when it's all over. So I didn't. I don't know what I feel about this movie. It's kind of like right in the middle of dislike and like. There are parts that I like, and I think, Jack, you said as a part of entertainment, if you're trying to push a narrative and make it entertaining, this didn't work, but I don't think this is made for anybody but a small subset of people, especially when you finish it off with Glenn Beck interviewing the guy on the Glenn Beck show. I was like, oh, okay, I get this. It's fine. It is what it is. It's like when we watch a movie with a bunch of 16-year-olds in it. It's not made for me. So it's hard for me to cast complete judgment.
Yeah, but they're trying to reach you.
It's not possible. I'm unreachable at this point. I know where I stand. Damn it! I've been around too
You know
long.
where you're going.
Yeah, it's all fine. So, look, this is going to be a really tough movie for a lot of people. I mean, it is so divisive. The topic is divisive, and the way the movie is paced is super divisive. So again, it's a very small niche market, but they got us to watch it, so good for them.
Yeah, so that's my biggest complaint about the movie is that this is listed as a horror movie. It is advertised as a horror movie. It is not in any way, shape, or form a horror movie. It is a complete bait and switch. It's bullshit. That is my number one complaint. This is a podcast with video that you can watch at the same time. It's just two people talking. And honestly, you could just sit and listen to it for 90% of the runtime and you would get everything. Having said that, Sean Patrick Flannery, right? That's his name. He was great, man. I mean, he couldn't even move. He was sitting at a table and he had to convey all of this that's going on. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I really did. But I complain about woke movies all the time because they start with a message and try to build a movie around it. And it doesn't make for an entertaining piece of art. And this is the same thing. Like, at the beginning, I was like, oh, this is labeled, you guys are saying it's a Christian movie. I was like, oh, it's okay. It's about demons, but the writing's pretty good. The dialogue between these guys isn't bad. And then they'd go in, they started talking about the carpenter, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. And then we got into the abortion, and then I'm like, oh man. I'm just like, it's like I'm watching a freaking Marvel movie getting preached to. Like, I just want an entertaining film. I just want some entertainment. So that's my freaking biggest complaint, man. It's like, this is a woke movie, just the other side of the coin. You're just feeding me bullshit, and you think somehow this is going to turn me around to your point of view. And it's kind of a shame because there was some talent behind it. Like I said, there's some of the acting was really good. Some of the dialogue was clever. When they weren't trying to push the message, when he's trying to ascertain, how crazy is this guy? Some of that was pretty well written. And then Glenn Beck shows up, and I'm like, what?
I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who Glenn Beck is.
Like
He's
super
a slightly
right-wing,
slightly divisive guy. Slightly
super
divisive
right-wing
guy.
Christian guy.
He's not your kind of guy, Chad. Trust me.
That's why I don't understand these movies. You know what? If you're making this just to appeal to like Christian types, and that's it, then sure, put him in there. But if you're trying to appeal to anybody else, putting this dude in there for an extended scene at the end is a really, really bad idea. Because anybody who may have been along for the ride, who you were trying to target, is probably not going to be paying attention after.
Kirk Cameron should have been in this movie.
But Kirk Cameron should have been sitting on the other side of the chair, like the Tonight Show. Glenn Beck's not going to turn the target audience off. They went
not the target, but I'm saying, like, if you wanted to appeal beyond,
they went to so hard it was like Viagra just got infused into their nut sacks when they saw
it was exactly that. This was a frustrating movie, man, because there was some good stuff in here, and then they just start preaching at me, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you had a decent movie with a little bit of writing changes and a little bit more subtlety and less of a forced message. It's fine, It's
a Christian movie. It has to preach.
Papa, don't preach.
I'm in trouble deep.
Why does everything we watch have to have some kind of freaking message now?
I know. But at least this is based on a book. Like, the book he was promoting at the end is an actual book that the movie was based on.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if you didn't get enough in the movie,
okay, I take back everything I just said. That author is a genius because he made this movie just to promote his own book. He probably got a lot of sales.
Oh my God, I can't take it.
So here's and this is going to be tricky for me because I'm not trying to bash people.
By the way, Jack, I love the fact that this is the first time you rang your church bell with Jesus behind you.
It is a London bell. It is not a church.
It's a church. It's as good as a church bell. I rang church bells as a altar boy for years. By the way, who is that? What that Jesus looks really familiar.
Is that from Carrie?
Yeah,
Carrie. All right.
Nice. I didn't know if it was from Carrie or Jethro Tull.
I googled Carrie crucifix.
Nice.
So I try to be careful here, but if this is your belief, and a lot of people do, and I'm not saying I don't. You believe in God and devils and
you don't need to qualify, Jack. We shit on all the woke shit too. Just say what you're going to say.
That's one thing. Oh, when you watch the reviews of this, people are watching it going, "This movie is so accurate. This is how it is. This is the truth. And people got it." And I'm sitting back going, number one, this is a fictional movie where a man gets possessed at the end by a demon, and then a woman hobo speaks to him in a demon voice. Like, this is a fictional movie.
Is it?
That may have overtones, whatever, but also this is your belief, but there's no proof that this is actually the real thing, whatever. So, like, there's a whole thing there that just gets under my skin of, like, the people who are watching this and, like, telling people, like, this is the truth. Like, it's just like, you start to mesh
It's their
fiction
truth.
and
It's their truth. It's a parable. The whole Bible is parables. It's a parable told.
I'm not
modern
even
day
getting into the religious stuff. It is what it is. I'm just like, as a film, it's like some of those discussions, my God. And Jack, you just mentioned the very end.
that is not me.
Chad, let him out of the basement.
It's not Jack's basement because they're all sedated.
You
what's
can't hear through my soundproofing.
All right, you're a professional at this. What's the Denzel Washington movie from the 90s? Fallen?
Yeah.
It's a movie, a much bigger budget, but it has kind of a similar subject matter about a demon taking over people's bodies and moving from body to body and doing different things. I love that movie. I had never once felt like that movie's being preachy, and that movie was about like Christianity and demons, and
That's a great point. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
it never
But
preached
that
you
movie
about
was
a
made
subject.
by, atheists in Hollywood. That's why you didn't get that feeling.
Well, they
This
did a
was
good
not.
job.
Yeah. It's a difference.
But that's a great movie about demons, and there's a lot of dialogue in that movie too.
They are watching the movie as we speak and
Yeah.
deeply impacted.
And like even the thing about like him allows the demon in, and then that ends up biting him in the ass. That in subtler hands, we've actually seen that kind of stuff before in horror movies, and it's fine. But they had to get to the point where he takes the book and rewrites it.
Well, it's the conversion of the atheist, right? So when the shit was about to hit the fan, he asked God to help, and the bullet didn't go off.
Davy and Goliath should have been in this movie.
I will give my father-in-law credit. My father-in-law was an atheist, didn't believe in anything. And to his dying day, he believed in nothing. I mean, he suffered for a year with horrible cancer. Never once asked why me, and never once asked for help from any divine power. And I'm like, I wish more atheists were like that, but 98% of them were going to hit the last second and go, please, I'm sorry, help me.
Okay.
I'll just bit a little bit of my family in there.
Like, what the hell does that have to do with?
Meaning my father-in-law, who was a pain in the ass, was more of a man than this guy who's, I'm an atheist until it's on the line, and then he's asking someone to help him. But that's the whole idea. This movie's about preaching and conversion. Like that's the whole idea of Christianity.
Yeah, it's conversion. Now, the other thing, so there's a really not subtle abortion thing that comes up. And there's no doubt where they stand on that.
Yeah, well, we're all tired of women thinking they can do whatever they want with their bodies. I mean, come on, enough.
Jesus Christ. It took this long for you to get there.
I kid.
He's not kidding, people. My question to you guys is, what's their stand on the death penalty? Because at first I was like, is this an anti-death penalty or not? Or is that the only subtle thing they did in this movie?
That's a damn good question, right?
I don't feel like we were ever really given a position on the death penalty. Yeah.
And if you're so against abortion, shouldn't you also be against the death penalty? Because,
well, it's all murder. And I think they even said that at one point. It's all the same.
Oh, you know what? You might be right, because he was saying you'll have killed 3 people by the end of this.
Right.
So,
but he only killed 2 that day.
Well, no, and it altogether, like
he said he would have killed 3 in total.
Your life, you will have killed 3.
But he said today you're going to kill 3 people. Then later,
by the end of today, you should listen, Jack. It's good writing, James. Oh my God! If he said James one more time.
You know what's funny? When I picked up on that watching the movie, and then when it ended, I go, "What the hell was his name?" That was gone like immediately. I was like, "Mark."
Did any of you fast forward to the end credits to see if anything else happens?
Yeah. There was some Latin or something.
The Latin thing you said again.
Oh, yeah. I gratefully turned it off when it was so.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
I wanted to see if Glenn Beck was going to come back and be like, "You can get these scarves at my store."
Yeah, putting Glenn Beck in at the end, I was like, dude.
And it's not
what?
just Glenn Beck for like 2 minutes. He's on for like 10 minutes
It's long.
with like these.
There was a continuity issue because he had his fingers in his face here, and then when he shot from behind him, the hand was down. So I found something wrong with continuity.
Anyway, are we done?
A friend of mine actually did marketing promotion for this. Like he had like swag, like hats and stuff like that. And I forget if he actually hit me up on Facebook or something. It was like, "Hey, I'm working on this horror movie or something." And then
What did the hat say? And can I get one?
It was just the logo, and it said "convert" or "turn or burn." It said
Turn or burn.
You should have gotten one and worn it on here.
and I was like, "Oh, he's working on a horror movie." Then I looked it up, and that's when I saw that it was agenda written. And it was like,
that's my biggest complaint. This is not a freaking horror movie. It is not.
No, not at all.
Any way, shape, or form horror.
Unless religion scares you, then it's a terrifying movie. By the way, you talk about people working on movies. Our buddy Jack Sober and Silly, his first cousin was the producer of Mandy.
What?
Yeah. We need. I keep working on it. I'm like, dude, we need her. Get her on the show.
Oh yeah.
But if she has a hat, I'll take that hat too. And Tina will take a hat too. So Jack, talk to your friend. I'm sure there's plenty of hats left in a box somewhere. We'll take all the hats we can get.
He opens the door and they just fall out and cover you.
Collapsing on hats. Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! I'm buried under hats.
Do you guys say nefarious or nefarious?
No,
Nefarious.
What Jack Hole says nefarious.
Nefarious.
Some people say tomato.
If you're South African, maybe some nefarious. No,
Nefarious.
nefarious. Were you thinking that Duran Duran song? Like I was.
Right. Yeah, we don't know what next week's movie is. We don't know what the hell there is to watch. Please give us recommendations. Any one of us, hit us up on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called, or
Wherever.
Anywhere. Send us messages about what we should watch. We need help.
Come
It's
to
gonna
my
be a
house.
rough year.
We'll sit by the fire on my creepy couch and just cuddle and watch the next movie.
Yeah.
Yay, there you go.
Open
people.
invitation. I'm lonely.
Oh, you just invited them in like the doctor.
I did. That's it. We're done.
All right, we're out of here. Bye, everyone.
Bye.